Hello everybody and welcome back to Operation Logistics, where I took a bit of a break between our last two episodes, and I was thinking about this, and I do very much still like this system that I came up with, this second system, where we determine what type of road we have based on our distance here. I think that this is still a great idea. However, the first thing that I'd like to figure out is not what's going on here. That is a problem, because we do know that it's being called on index 0. So, and it shouldn't be, because if index equals 0 or index equals rroad.count, then it does this. But we'll get to that in a moment. Where do we actually assign our index? Equals rroad.index of subhexes I. Okay, good to know. But what I'm more thinking right now is we need to refine these numbers right here. So we know if it's a road corner sharp, if I hop into Unity proper here and hide the subhexes, we know if it's a corner sharp, we know that the two hexes in question are adjacent to this hex, because say we're using this hex here. We know that the two hexes in question are going to be adjacent to this hex. We know that they're going to be one of these 6. We also know that if it's a sharp corner, they're guaranteed to be right next to each other, which means the distance between them should be the same as the distance between this hex and any one of its neighbors, which that distance should be negative 0.15. However, that is local distance. So let's go ahead and duplicate these two hexes and move them out of the sub-subhexes structure. Place them up here, and for now I'm going to hide sub-subhexes so we can see what's going on. And then we can see we've got these two right next to each other. And the question is, how far apart are they? Well, let's set this at 0, 0, 0. And let's set this to be basically the same. Okay, so 0, 1, 7, 3, 4. That is actually a correct position. That's a hex position that I know from having worked with standard Blender-sized hexes before. So that it's usually 0.1734, but because we're, or rather 1.734, but since we're at 0.00 or 0.01 scale, this is the distance right here. So 0.01734. So 0.01734. If it's less than or equal to that, but let's go ahead and bump that up actually to be 0.18. Just round that up. So if it's less than or equal to that, then we know it's a road corner sharp, because the two hexes are definitely right next to each other. So I'm going to duplicate this map hex again. There we go, up to 75, and we're going to bring this up another. So 0.01734 plus, or actually I'm just going to do times 2. There we go. Okay, so we also know if it is straight, it will be this distance. However, if it's a corner, I'm going to go ahead and move this over to be, let's see, where do we need this? I think 0.15 is where we need this. And then this would need to be about 866 instead. So 0.01734 plus 0.0866. There we go, 0.0866. Okay, so the distance between these two hexes for a corner is the distance we're interested in. So the question is, what actually is the distance here? That is a good question. Well, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? So we know that it is 0.15 is the length of this piece of the triangle, plus 0.26 is the length of this. So we can just pop open a calculator here and say 0.015 plus 0.026, and then we take the square root of that, which is 0.02 or 0.2. Okay, so this is the squared Well, we would just take the square distance, yeah? So we could just, yeah, square magnitude is fine, because we're using squared magnitude anyway. So 0.015 plus 0.026. So if this is less than or equal to 0.025, 15? What am I doing? 0.015 plus 0.026. And I mean, we can pre-calculate that, but the compiler will get that for us. So as long as it's less than or equal to this, and I'm going to go ahead and actually round that up ever so slightly, 0.27, then we know that it's a corner. Otherwise, we know that it's a road prefab, but I'm going to go ahead and say if the square magnitude here is greater than or equal to, and I'm going to say if it's greater than or equal to 0.018f times 2. So that's just the straight line distance. Now, obviously, this still isn't going to work because we still have our index wow. We still have our index problem, but with that, we should have much, much more accurate distances to work with. Theoretically, anyway. Now, this is square magnitude, so this should be probably squared. Yes, these should all be squared. So I'm going to go ahead and do 0.018f, and then I am going to pre-calculate this, just because it'll make this slightly easier. 0.015 plus 0.027 is 0.042. Or 2 times 0.042, and I'm gonna, just to make this a little more even, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. And we probably don't need to be calculating the distance every time, so I'm gonna go ahead and simplify that as well. So float square distance equals next position minus previous position dot square magnitude. And now we don't have to calculate this every time. So let's go ahead and do that, then that, then that. Okay, excellent. And then this would be 0.36, correct? I have a second calculator up. And that is just 0.36, yeah, as expected. Okay, get out of here, calculators. We don't need you. So 0.36, well, 0.036 times 0.036 to square it. Now this distance is actually already squared, now that I think about it, because we did not take a square root. So this is the actual distance that we're looking for, right? No, this is the squared distance. This one is not squared. Okay, so yeah, this distance here is not a squared distance, so we need to square that. But this distance is squared right here. Okay, now theoretically, it might work. Probably not. I mean, we know we're still going to have the index issue, but our math should, I think, be better-ish. Object reference not set to instance of object. Oh, of course. I didn't re-enable my subhexes and sub-subhexes. There's the problem. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, yeah, it's, we've still got the index issue. And with the index issue, that means that we're going to have some difficulties, but we do see that there's a regular corner, there's a straightaway over here, there's a sharp corner as well. So that's a good-ish sign. However, we do definitely still have that index issue. So, with that being the case, let's try to figure out why exactly we've got that now that I'm fresh. So, we are iterating through subhexes.count with I, and then down here, index equals rroad.index of subhexes I. If index equals 0 or index equals rroad.count. So this is going when it's debugging index at -1. Which tells me that it's doing this for a hex that is not on a road. But it's doing it if the building equals buildings.road. So is a hex not actually being assigned an on-road when we generate it? Let's check. Current intersections.add, intersections.add, current hex.onroad I. Okay. Current hex.onroad equals I. Because this is where we start the road. Road entries I.onroad equals I minus 3 only if we are less than or equal to 2. Or if we're greater than or equal to 2. Or no, if we're just greater than 2. Okay. So the question then is, index equals 0. Why is it not going here? Or rather, index equals -1. Let's go ahead and create a debug here for if index equals -1. I just want to go ahead and continue. However, we are going to be continuing our for loop here, because if it's -1, then we just don't know. It's not on this road. It's confusing. We don't know what's happening here. So let's go ahead and say debug.log road plus, let's go for sub hexes I dot gameObject dot name plus is a road but not on a road? I'm confused. Okay, there we go. So now it'll tell us when it's confused and what it's confused about. With any luck, that will to some degree solve the problem, and then we'll be able to investigate a little bit more thoroughly. Okay. So argument is out of range because it's 11. That's fine. Okay, so we've got ourselves map hex 10. So let's go into sub-hexes here. Map hex 10 is a road on road 0. That's intriguing. Where is it going exactly? No, seriously, where is this supposedly going? I guess it goes back to here? Like it doubles back? But it's not supposed to. And also, this didn't get added to the road list. Okay, so I think what we've got going on here is our doubling back checking is working and not adding it to the list. Let's see. Current road.add current hex. But we are discounting the neighbor if it's on a different road. Hang on. So if it's on a different road, we add it to the possible locations list, or rather, and it's not already in the intersections. So it can't double back. We add it here. Yeah, that's to be expected, though. Well, this is definitely giving us more information to go on what's exactly happening here. I'm going to go ahead and remove down here the index. There we go. And then here, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more detail. It's supposed to be on road plus, and then we're going to go with subhexes I dot on road dot toString plus, but is index number plus index dot toString. Okay, so now it gives us a little bit more information here, and we'll be able to look at what's going on, and it'll only print out the index if there's a problem. Now, we do still have the issue of our road.count here. So if it equals our road.count, I think we need to do -1. And that should fix that particular issue. Okay. That's intriguing. To be sure. It doesn't seem to have created a road here or here. But it created all of our other roads. This road is angled incorrectly. It's supposed to... Oh, I need to add in a space here. It's supposed to be on road... space here for but. There we go. Because road 0, but is index number -1. So it's always returning index number -1 if it's not on that road. Which is intriguing. Okay, let's head on in here. 10, 15, 21. And now it's just not producing any. There we go. Okay, yeah. That's intriguing, to be sure. Okay, so I feel like this was working up here. Where am I? Here. This was working like this before, but we need to go ahead and say... well, actually, no. I think this is still fine. No, it's not fine. Are we not putting the final road on... Oh, we're not putting the final one on the road. That's a big part of our issue. We're not putting the exit into the road. So if current hex equals goal hex, current road dot add goal hex, and then we break. Right? No, it should already be done. What am I talking about? Current hex equals goal hex, and we just added current hex. Nope, I'm incorrect there. I already got that. So... No, that... Go away. I don't want to do that. Okay, so... Why is this calling it... I mean, we're getting index -1. Because it's on a road, but not on a road. And this should be adding the road every time. Let's do something here. Else, debug.log. Default fall through on building generation. Got through all road types without actually assigning. That shouldn't theoretically ever be called. But we'll see if it does get called. Let's find out. Isn't debugging fun? Oh boy. Okay, argument is out of range. I did expect an argument out of range exception. And that is sub-hex manager line 240. I'm expecting that to be the +1. Line 240. Yep, index +1. Yes, that was expected. I do still think our road.count -1 is still the right call here. Because it's 0 indexed, yeah. Yeah, that's correct. So the question then becomes, why is it not actually outputting some of these roads? Okay, so see, like here, it didn't put one here, it didn't put one here, and it didn't put one here. It does the first three, but not the second three. So that's definitely intriguing. Which makes me think that it's something up here. Roads.add current road. If I is less than or equal to 2. Else... Oh... I know what the problem is, I think. If... Let's do an if statement here. If road entries I... Or actually, if roads... road entries I dot on road. Okay, so if we dot contains, hang on road dot contains road entries I, and then let's negate this with an exclamation mark to say if our road does not contain our road entry, then we need to add it. So roads, road entries I dot on road dot add road entries I. Okay, so if it's not on the road through some miracle after all of this, then we need to just add it. I don't know if that'll work or not. We'll find out. I don't know if it wasn't on the road previously. Let's see here. Okay. Let's take a quick look at what's going on here. We need to be not in our subhexes, but rather our sub-subhexes. And let's take a quick look up here. So this is on a road. It's on road 2. This here is on a road on road 1. And this here is on road 0. Okay. So with that being the case, and also I'm noticing a potential issue here, because see here we have 1 entry and 3 exits. We don't have an intersection tile for that. We'll probably have to create one. That's not the end of the world. We can just cut this one in half, mirror it, call it a day. That's going to be the plan there. But yeah, I mean, as far as why these aren't being drawn, these are actually the ones that are returning an error, right? That's 10. That's 15. And that's 21. Yeah, those are the ones that it's actually freaking out about because they are index number 1, or number -1. So they're actually still not on the road. Okay. That's certainly interesting. Why is that happening then? Because we should definitely be adding them here. I wonder. I think I know the problem, maybe. Let's see. Current road.add, blah, 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 blah. I think the problem is that we have not set what road it is on here. We should also here definitely be saying something along the lines of up here. We should say if neighbor, or rather if current hex dot neighbors j equals goal hex, we should 100% have it go to the goal hex every time. If it's neighboring the goal hex, it should go there every time. So let's go ahead and say possible locations dot clear at that point possible locations dot add goal hex, and then we break out of the for loop. So at that point, it 100%, if it's adjacent to the exit tile, it 100% goes to it. Every time. I don't think that'll fix our problem, but let's find out. I mean, it shouldn't, theoretically. Yeah, it didn't fix our problem. However, we now definitely have a bit more clean of roads going on, which is pretty good. It's what I'm looking for. And then the question is, how can we go about setting these before we do the others? Well, one thing we could certainly do... I mean, but we don't need to, right? So that's fine. Because we take our possible locations, then we go on in. Current hex equals goal hex, we break out. Hang on a moment. When do we set... I have an idea here. When do we set this for the entry hexes if it's these? I think we don't. Let's check. Okay, so entry hexes. It is set to type road. 10, 15, 21. I mean, we know why it's happening-ish. We know what's happening. We need to figure out why it's happening and how to fix it. But I think if current hex equals goal hex break, what if we put that down here and we go ahead and go through with all of this assignment exactly as we normally would? Because my question is, where exactly are we setting the road entries road type? I'm not convinced that we are, even though it says it's type road. I don't know. Claims to be on road 2. I don't think this is going to fix anything. I'm just checking. Yeah, that didn't fix it. Kinda to be expected. Although I'm looking at this, and I'm wondering what exactly is happening here. Because this should be a sharp corner if it's on the road I think it is. On road 0, on road 0, on road 0. Yeah, that should be a sharp corner there. And I'm wondering why it didn't create one. Instead it created a straightaway, which is intriguing. I'm guessing it has to do with the fact that it's on a road entry. I don't know that for sure, though. Okay, well, I do need to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to keep trying to plumb the mysteries of this road generation system. I do like this current system a lot better than this nonsense that was going on. It's less confusing, and it, I think, does a better job. But I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in here, and next episode, we'll see if we can iron out some of these issues. See you all then.